Nia Carter did not leave the Carter estate with answers. She left with a ledger, a warning, and a drive her mother had hidden in the one place Vanessa would never think to look. For a few minutes, she did not move. The car sat at the edge of the estate drive, engine off, headlights dim, the house still visible through the windshield, like a memory refusing to disappear. The Carter estate had always looked beautiful from the outside. Perfect windows, perfect hedges, perfect silence. But now Nia knew that silence had been built on secrets. Her mother's funeral had barely settled into the past before Vanessa turned the will reading into a performance. Vanessa had sat in that room like she already knew the ending. Calm, polished, untouched. And maybe she did know, because the will had given Vanessa almost everything. The house, the accounts, the control, the version of their mother's life that could be read out loud in front of witnesses. Nia had been left with one envelope, one sentence, and a feeling in her stomach that told her Evelyn Carter had not forgotten her. Look where I kept the blue roses. At first, Nia thought it was grief making her search for meaning. People do that when someone dies. They turn every sentence into a sign, every photograph into a message, every old habit into a code. But this was not grief. This was planning. Her mother had planned for this exact moment. The blue roses had led Nia through the estate, past rooms Vanessa thought she controlled, into a hidden study that never should have been hidden from her. Behind the painting, behind the compartment, behind years of family silence, there had been the ledger, the family ledger, old leather, heavy spine, pages worn at the corners from her mother's hands. And tucked with it, almost too small for what it meant, was the drive. A black USB drive. Ordinary enough to be overlooked. Important enough to be hidden behind a wall. Nia stared at it in her palm. It did not look like justice. It did not look like revenge. It looked like something someone might leave in a drawer and forget. But Evelyn Carter did not forget things. Not appointments, not birthdays, not unpaid debts, not lies. Nia closed her fingers around the drive and looked back toward the estate. Somewhere inside that house, Vanessa was probably still pretending she had won. Maybe she was pouring herself a glass of wine. Maybe she was calling someone to tell them the will reading was done. Maybe she was walking room to room, claiming the furniture with her eyes. But Nia had seen Vanessa's face when the envelope was opened. That was not surprise. That was fear. Not the loud kind, not the kind that breaks through a person's voice. Vanessa's fear was quieter than that. It lived in her jaw, in the way her eyes shifted, in the way her hand tightened against the edge of the table when Nia read the words blue roses. Vanessa knew those words meant something. And now Nia was sitting outside the estate with the proof resting on the passenger seat beside her. The ledger was open where she had dropped it. The pages looked harmless in the dashboard light, but Nia knew better now. Her mother had not left her money in that room. She had not left her jewelry. She had not left her an apology. Evelyn Carter had left her a trail. And trails only exist when someone is meant to follow them. Nia picked up the ledger again. Her hands were steady, but only because she forced them to be. She had spent her whole life learning how not to react in front of Vanessa. Vanessa could turn any emotion into a weakness. Anger became bitterness. Hurt became jealousy. Confusion became proof that Nia did not understand how the family worked. So Nia had learned stillness. She had learned to listen. She had learned to notice. And now, for the first time, that stillness felt like something her mother had trusted. The drive sat on the open page like a question. Nia looked from the ledger to the house, then back again. Whatever was on that drive, Evelyn had not wanted Vanessa to see it first, and that meant Nia could not take it back inside. Not yet. Not until she understood what her mother had died protecting. The first pages of the ledger looked exactly like what Nia expected old family records to look like. Names, dates, property descriptions, estate notes written in careful, slanted handwriting. There were entries about the Carter house, investment accounts, charitable donations, and old transfers between family trusts. A stranger might have seen wealth. Nia saw control. Because in her family, money was never just money. Money decided who sat at the table, who was believed, who was invited, who was protected, and who was told to be grateful for crumbs. Evelyn had always understood that. She never spoke about money casually. She never bragged about what she had. She never let Vanessa turn inheritance into a competition in front of her. But Evelyn watched everything. Nia remembered being 16, standing in the kitchen while Vanessa argued with their mother over a trust distribution. Vanessa had been polished even then, pretty, sharp, already practicing the kind of voice that made demands sound reasonable. Nia had not understood the details. She only remembered her mother saying very quietly, "Control is not the same thing as care." At the time, Nia thought Evelyn was talking about Vanessa. Now she wondered if Evelyn had been talking about the whole family. Nia turned another page, then another. The ledger was not written like a diary. There were no long emotional confessions, no dramatic accusations. Evelyn Carter had not been that kind of woman. She recorded facts, dates, initials, receipts, patterns, and that made the ledger more frightening. Because feelings could be denied, facts had to be explained. Near the middle of the book, one page had a folded corner, not torn, not damaged, folded deliberately. Nia's breath slowed. She recognized that fold. Evelyn used to do the same thing with cookbooks when Nia was little. A small corner turned down, never messy, never rushed. It meant, "Come back here. This matters." Nia smoothed the page under her fingers. Page 47. At first, nothing jumped out. There was no confession written across the center. No sentence saying Vanessa lied. No neat explanation that made everything simple. Just records. A property transfer dated 6 months earlier. A trust amendment listed by initials. A line referencing a scanned file. Then a phrase written in the margin. Blue roses. Nia stared at it. She turned back a page, then forward again. Blue roses. It appeared beside an account transfer, then beside a document receipt, then beside a note about a meeting with Julian Holloway. Again and again, the same phrase. Blue roses was not a room. It was not a painting. It was not even only a clue. It was a label, a private filing system, a name Evelyn used when she wanted something hidden in plain sight. Nia's chest tightened. Her mother had created a second record. One Vanessa did not control. One Julian may not have known existed. Or maybe he did. That thought made Nia pause. Julian Holloway had read the will like every word was final. He had not stumbled. He had not looked surprised. He had not acted like anything was missing. But the ledger had his name beside blue roses more than once. Nia looked at the drive again. If the ledger was the map, then the drive was the evidence. And page 47 was where her mother wanted her to start. For the first time that night, Nia felt something hotter than grief. Not rage, not yet. Rage was too easy. This was sharper, cleaner. The feeling of realizing someone had underestimated the wrong daughter. Nia placed the drive beside the open ledger. Then she opened her laptop. The screen lit the car in pale blue. For a moment she hesitated, because there are some doors that cannot be closed again once opened, and Nia knew this was one of them. When the drive opened, there were no family photographs, no music, no old holiday videos, no goodbye message waiting at the top like a scene from a movie. Just folders. Cold, plain folders with dates for names. Nia almost laughed, but there was no humor in it. Of course, her mother had not hidden the truth inside something sentimental. Evelyn Carter had hidden it like a woman building a case. The first folder was labeled with the year before her death. Inside were scanned letters, estate memos, account summaries, and copies of documents Nia had never seen. The second folder held property records. The third held correspondence. The fourth was labeled only with numbers. Nia clicked through them slowly, forcing herself not to skim. Every file seemed small by itself. A transfer, a note, a revised draft, a signature page. But together, they began forming a shape, and the shape looked very much like a theft. Not the dramatic kind where someone breaks a lock or empties a safe in the middle of the night. This was quieter, cleaner, paperwork theft, the kind done through amended documents, convenient timing, missing attachments, and trusted professionals who knew which pages people usually skipped. The Carter estate had not been stolen all at once. It had been redirected, piece by piece. Nia opened a scanned bank record and saw the phrase again. Blue roses, then another, blue roses, then a file name that made her hand freeze over the trackpad. Page _47 _supporting _documents. She clicked it. A list of documents appeared on the screen. Original Trust Amendment, Draft Will Version 3, Beneficiary Schedule, Asset Transfer Review, Meeting Notes, and at the bottom, a video file. Nia did not open the video. Not yet. Something told her that file was not the beginning. It was the end. So she opened the documents first. The original trust amendment listed the Carter house differently than Julian had described it during the will reading. The beneficiary schedule did not match what Vanessa had inherited, and the asset transfer review had her mother's notes in the margins. Evelyn had circled dates, underlined names, placed small question marks next to account numbers. One note stood out from the rest. V. Requested control before final review. Nia read it twice. V. Vanessa. Another document showed an amendment prepared 2 months before Evelyn died. Then a second version, then a third. The changes were subtle. A phrase removed here, a condition softened there. Authority shifted from one trustee to another. At first glance, it all looked professional, but the pattern was obvious once Nia knew what to look for. The final version made Vanessa look like the natural heir. The earlier versions told another story. Evelyn had not intended for Vanessa to control everything alone. Nia leaned back against the seat. Her mother had known, not suspected, known. And still, at the will reading, Vanessa sat there like inheritance was a crown she had earned. Nia thought of the envelope, of the way Vanessa's eyes followed it, of Dolores standing quietly near the wall, watching everyone watch Nia. Dolores had known something too. Maybe not all of it, maybe not the documents or the drive, but she had known enough to warn Nia, enough to let her leave that room, enough to let her find the study. Nia clicked the folder marked Correspondence. There were emails printed to PDF, letters scanned from office stationery, and several documents tied to Julian Holloway. Julian had been more than the attorney who read the will. He had been involved in the drafts, the revisions, the meetings, the missing attachments. Nia sat very still. If this had been only Vanessa, it would have been ugly. But if Julian helped her, it was bigger than ugly. It was planned. It was protected. It was the kind of betrayal that wore a suit and carried a briefcase. Nia closed the laptop halfway, then opened it again. She could not go back to the estate. Not yet. If Vanessa knew Nia had the drive, she would come for it. If Julian knew, he would explain it away. And Nia had spent too many years being told she misunderstood what was happening right in front of her. This time, she needed someone who understood the law better than Vanessa understood manipulation. She needed Monica Vale. Nia did not sleep. By morning, the estate looked different in her memory. The will reading room was no longer just a room where she had been humiliated. It was a stage. Vanessa had played her part. Julian had played his. Even Nia had played hers, sitting there quietly while everyone waited to see how she would react. But Evelyn had written a different scene underneath the one everyone else could see. And now Nia was carrying that hidden script into Monica Vale's office. Monica did not ask why Nia looked like she had not slept. She did not ask why Nia still had her coat on. She did not ask why the old ledger in Nia's arms looked heavier than any book should. She simply closed her office door and said, "Show me." That was the first moment Nia almost cried. Not because Monica was kind. Kindness would have made her defensive. It was because Monica did not make her prove she had a right to be there. Monica did not soften the room with fake sympathy. She did not tell Nia grief made people suspicious. She looked at the evidence like evidence, and Nia needed that more than comfort. The ledger went on the desk first, then the drive, then the printed copies Nia had made from the first few folders. Monica read in silence. The silence was worse than questions. At first, her expression remained professional, focused but controlled. Then she turned a page, then another. Then she went back to the first. Nia watched Monica's eyes narrow. That was when she knew. Something was wrong enough that even Monica could not hide it. "This clause," Monica said finally. Her voice was calm, but it had changed. She turned a document toward Nia and tapped a section near the bottom. This clause should have been referenced during the reading. Nia looked down. The words blurred for a second before she forced herself to focus. The clause did not give Nia the entire estate. It did not turn the story into a fairy tale. But it changed the power. It limited Vanessa's control. It required review before certain assets could be transferred. It named conditions, it named oversight, and it named Nia. Not as an afterthought, not as the daughter left with an envelope, as someone Evelyn had intentionally protected. Nia felt the room tilt quietly. "All of this was missing?" she asked. Monica did not answer right away. She kept reading. That was answer enough. The will Julian read at the Carter estate had not included everything Evelyn signed, or if it had, he had chosen not to read the part that mattered. Monica pulled another document closer. "This is an earlier draft," she said, "and this is the version that appears to support the clause. But this final version—" She stopped. Nia looked at her. Monica's jaw tightened. "This final version benefits Vanessa more cleanly." Cleanly? That word landed hard, because that was exactly how Vanessa did things. She did not create mess unless she could blame someone else for it. She preferred clean stories. Nia was jealous. Nia was emotional. Nia did not understand business. Nia had been distant from the family. Nia expected too much. Vanessa never needed to shout when she could shape the room until everyone else repeated her version. But Evelyn had known her daughters, both of them. And maybe that was why the ledger existed. Not because Evelyn trusted paper more than people, because she knew people could be convinced to lie. Paper had to be altered, and altered paper left marks. Monica looked up from the documents. "Nia," she said carefully, "who else knows you have this?" "No one," Nia said. Then she thought of Dolores, then Vanessa's face, then Julian's name appearing beside blue roses. "No one I trust completely," she corrected. Monica leaned back slowly. That was when Nia understood the danger had changed. This was no longer about being left out of a will. It was about proving the will had been handled wrong, before the people who handled it could destroy the proof. While Nia sat across from Monica Vale, Vanessa Carter was back inside the hidden study. She moved carefully, but not calmly. There was a difference. Calm has patience. Vanessa had control. And control begins to crack when someone else finds the thing you buried. The study no longer looked untouched. A drawer sat open. Papers had shifted. The blue rose painting hung slightly wrong, the way a secret looks after someone has disturbed it. Vanessa stood in the center of the room and stared at the wall. For years, she had believed she understood her mother's house better than Nia ever could. She knew which rooms mattered, which keys opened which locks, which relatives could be persuaded, which professionals could be managed, which stories sounded believable in public. But Evelyn had hidden an entire truth behind beauty. Blue roses. Vanessa had hated that painting, not because it was ugly, because Evelyn loved it for reasons she never explained. Now Vanessa understood that the painting had never been decoration. It had been a door, and Nia had opened it. Vanessa searched the desk first, then the drawers, then the shelf behind the painting. There was no ledger, no drive, no second envelope. Nothing left but the evidence that something had been taken. Her phone lit up on the desk. Julian Holloway. Vanessa stared at his name before answering. For once, she did not speak first. Julian did. Did she find it? Vanessa closed her eyes. That one question told the whole story. Julian knew there was an it. He knew it could be found, and he knew Nia was the one who might find it. Vanessa's voice stayed even when she answered. She found something. On the other end of the call, Julian was silent. For a man trained to make silence feel professional, this one felt afraid. The drive had not pointed only to Vanessa. It pointed to Julian, too. His private drafts, his unsigned versions, his file notes, records saved before anyone could erase them. The final will had been changed, but Evelyn had kept the first version, and the first version told a different story. Back in Monica's office, Nia watched those drafts spread across the desk like pieces of a life Vanessa had tried to rearrange. Monica pointed out the inconsistencies one by one. This signature page belonged to an earlier version. This attachment was referenced but missing. This transfer was initiated before the final review. This clause existed here, then vanished there. No single page screamed fraud. That was the genius of it. But together, the pages whispered the truth until ignoring it became impossible. Nia thought about all the times Vanessa had called her dramatic, sensitive, difficult. All the times she made Nia feel like asking questions was the same thing as causing problems. Now Nia understood. Vanessa did not hate questions because they were rude. She hated them because they led somewhere. By nightfall, Vanessa stopped pretending she was not worried. She sat in her car across from Monica's office, watching the entrance like a woman waiting for a verdict. When Nia finally stepped outside, Vanessa did not move. She watched. Nia walked with the same stillness she had carried into the will reading, but something had changed. She was not holding herself together anymore. She was holding something back. That frightened Vanessa more, because grief can be controlled. Anger can be provoked, but proof has a way of standing on its own. Vanessa's hands tightened around the steering wheel. She had inherited the house, but Nia had inherited the truth. The next morning, the third envelope arrived. No return address, no signature on the outside. Just a cream envelope with a small blue mark pressed into the seal. Nia stood outside Monica's office holding it, and for a moment she did not open it. She already knew. This was not from Vanessa. This was not from Julian. This was her mother's hand reaching forward one more time. Inside was one photograph, one handwritten note, and a final instruction. The photograph showed the blue rose painting. Not as Nia had seen it behind the hidden wall, but years earlier, before the study had been rearranged, before Evelyn's illness became something people whispered about in hallways, before Vanessa started treating the estate like a countdown. On the back of the photograph, Evelyn had written 3 words: "Trust the record." Nia unfolded the note. The handwriting was weaker than the ledger entries, but still unmistakably Evelyn's. If Vanessa comes for the ledger, give Monica the drive. Nia read the sentence once, then again. Her mother had known Vanessa would come for it. Not might, would. That meant Evelyn had not only suspected betrayal, she had predicted the next move. And if Evelyn predicted Vanessa, then maybe she had predicted Julian too. Nia looked at the drive. For the first time, it no longer felt like a mystery. It felt like a weapon her mother had spent years making sure would end up in the right hands. The last file on the drive was a video. Nia had avoided it for as long as she could. Documents were easier. Documents let her think, let her stay angry, let her focus on dates, signatures, missing clauses, and names in margins. But a video meant her mother's face, her mother's voice. And Nia was not sure she was ready to hear Evelyn Carter speak from the other side of everything Vanessa had broken. Monica stepped out of the office to make copies. The room grew quiet. Nia sat alone with the laptop, the ledger, the envelope, and the drive. All of it on the desk in front of her. A trail of evidence, a trail of love, a trail of apologies Evelyn had never said out loud. Nia moved the cursor over the video file. For a long moment, she did nothing. Then she clicked. The screen went black. Then Evelyn appeared. She sat beneath the blue rose painting in the hidden study. Older than Nia wanted to remember. Tired in a way no makeup could cover. But her eyes were clear. Completely clear. Evelyn Carter looked into the camera like she was looking through time. For the first time since the will reading, Nia stopped moving. She stopped searching. She stopped trying to make the pieces fit, because her mother was finally speaking to her. "My daughter," Evelyn said, her voice soft but steady, "if you are watching this, then Vanessa has already lied." Nia pressed one hand to her mouth. On the screen, Evelyn took a slow breath. "I know what this will look like at first. I know what she will want you to believe. She will want you to think I chose her. She will want you to think I forgot you. She will want you to think your silence means you have no claim." Evelyn's eyes lowered briefly, then returned to the camera. "But I know my daughters." The words landed like a hand on Nia's shoulder. "I know Vanessa's hunger. I know her charm. I know the way she can make control sound like responsibility. And I know you, Nia. I know you will question yourself before you question anyone else. That is why I could not leave this to a conversation." Nia's eyes filled, but she did not look away. "I made mistakes," Evelyn continued. "Some by trusting the wrong people. Some by keeping peace when I should have told the truth. Some by allowing Vanessa to believe the estate was something to win." The recording flickered slightly. Evelyn adjusted herself in the chair. "But the ledger is the record. The drive is the proof. And Monica will know what to do with both." Nia looked at the ledger, at the drive, at the envelope. They were not random pieces anymore. They were instructions. Evelyn had built a chain. The will would expose Vanessa's confidence. The envelope would lead Nia to the blue roses. The ledger would lead Nia to page 47. Page 47 would lead to the drive. The drive would lead to Monica. And Monica would bring the truth somewhere Vanessa could not simply talk over it. Evelyn's voice softened. "I did not leave you out, Nia. I left you out loud." Nia froze. On the screen, her mother's face trembled for the first time. Vanessa had to believe she won. Julian had to believe the final version buried the first. Everyone in that room had to believe you walked away with nothing but grief. Because if they knew what I really left you, they would have taken it before you understood its value. Nia's tears finally fell. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just one line down her face, then another. Her mother had not forgotten her. She had hidden her in plain sight. Evelyn leaned closer to the camera. "The house is not the inheritance. The money is not the inheritance. The truth is, And once you have the truth, everything they built on the lie begins to fall. The video paused for a second, then continued. If Vanessa comes for the ledger, do not argue with her. If Julian offers an explanation, do not accept it alone. Give Monica the drive. Give her the original clause. And do not let anyone convince you that being quiet means being powerless. Nia sat perfectly still, because those were not just instructions. They were permission. Permission to stop shrinking. Permission to stop explaining herself to people committed to misunderstanding her. Permission to stop treating Vanessa's version of the family as the only one that mattered. Evelyn's final words came slowly. I loved you enough to leave you proof. Then the recording ended. The room went silent. Not empty, silent. There is a difference. Empty silence feels like loss. This silence felt like the moment before a storm finally breaks. Nia closed the laptop. The ledger was not the inheritance. The drive was not the secret. They were proof. And Evelyn Carter had left Nia everything she needed to take back what Vanessa stole. For years, Vanessa had controlled the room, the money, the story, the grief. But that ended the moment Nia opened the drive. Because some family secrets stay buried forever, and some come with receipts.